Cage Rage Dave is joining us now from the UK. Cage Rage, you're on with Mike Straka and Skyscrape from Tapout.
How you doing, guys? London's in the house.
I love it. I love it, bro. So how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Busy, but that's the way we like to be promoters. Always keep busy.
Last time I saw you was Punta Cana at the Hard Rock. How's it going out there in London? How was your last card?
Oh, amazing. Another packed-out house, knockouts. We discovered Michael Page, which has hit the worldwide. His videos now hit 1 million in Brazil, America. So he's created another little new star who, again, is fighting again in April. So I can't wait to see him bash out again.
Now, what's Michael Page's background? Is he Muay Thai?
No, do you know what? We had him on Cage Fight the other day, and he's been fighting since he was 3 years of age. Like his dad's a point-scoring guy. Then he went to kickboxing. Then he done Muay Thai. So he's been in the combat sports literally all his life for the last 20 years, and just only the last year and a half been training mixed martial arts.
Now, Dave, you have a pretty interesting take on how you present fights, and particularly the way you and your cohort announces the fights on camera. I love how you do that. It's a different take on how you present and how you promote those fights. What gave you guys the idea to do that, put yourself in there the way you do it, and to do it so entertainingly?
Well, it's not a phase on the UFC, but I was in Vegas. We were in Vegas, and there's a lot of downtime, unless you're watching it on TV. On TV, it's fantastic. If you're in the audience, like you're sitting there, you don't know what's happening, you don't know what's going on. And I said, as a paying fan, I'd like to see on the big screens if the two guys were up there telling all the guys what was happening. So we just went back to England, and when we first got our deal with Sky Sports, said, look, we want to try and present it like this, to give the fans in the audience the same feel as it is on TV. They said, and it is hard, You've been in the arenas before, things go wrong, but I prefer to take the risk and do it like that than just do it all for TV. So we do it for the paying fans as well as the other guys. I think it's really worked. For us, it's really worked. So fingers crossed, you never know. It may happen in the USA. You never know.
Man, you sound like you're straight out of a Guy Ritchie movie. I love it.
Let me tell you, brother.
Hey, you guys should Google Dave O'Donnell or Cage Rage Dave. You guys, the American audience doesn't know you yet, but I have a good feeling that they will know you. And I'm going to try to get you on my Spike show, too, because I think it's really important that people understand that there's more promotions out there. And you guys, and I'm not saying this to knock you at all, but you guys are a really good feeder league for the UFC as well, because you have great talent in your promotion.
Yeah, listen, I make no mistake. All the guys know that I love to push the guys to UFC. I can't afford to pay what the UFC pay. It's like the NFL of MMA, and I like to get my guys. When John Maguire, Brad Pitt, Jason Young, when them guys go to UFC, I pat myself on the back and go, guys, well done, move on. I'd never hold them back over a contract. I've signed off contracts before to let the guys move on and do better things. And what the UFC are doing now is amazing. I just hope the UK can just carry on and give the crowd and mainstream public what MMA is all about. Because the more eyeballs that see MMA, everyone falls in love with it. It's a simple fact, Everybody knows it's taken over boxing. I don't know about football, but, it's really rocketing up there, and that's what I love about the sport.
See, and that's what I like. I mean, there needs to be more events like that, like yours. You just said it. You're perfectly okay with signing somebody off to go to the UFC because really, in turn, that makes you look good as a promoter and your event looks good because the more guys that come from your organization that go to the UFC, the better you look. That means you're breeding these guys that are UFC caliber. No, there's no need in trying to compete with UFC. Everybody knows the UFC is the cream of the crop, and that's where everybody wants to be. But why not be the league that it's kind of the feeder that sends guys there all the time? I like that. I like that thinking.
Hey, Dave, out in Punta Cana, a guy who really stuck out, in my opinion, is Jermaine the Pain Facey. What do you think of his future?
Well, it's funny you should say that because I don't even know if you know. There's a new organisation called Worldwide MMA, and they've got a master plan, which I love master plans, and their first show is in Texas on the 31st of March. And Jermaine the Pain, he's been flown out there, and he's fighting Mr. Willie Parks.
Wow.
So we'll see then. Like Jermaine says, he's a good wrestler, but Jermaine brings the pain. Whatever fight he's in, he just brings 100% mayhem. And that's what, hopefully that's what the Americans will see when I take him out there.
Hey, you guys use the C word like we use, like, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I was interviewing Ross Pearson at his last fight, and I said, so, how impressed are you with the up-and-coming British fighters? And then he named a couple of guys, and I go, how about this kid, Jermaine the Pain Facey? And he goes, I never heard of him. So he goes off, we go off camera, and his trainer is a guy I'm sure you know, and he says, you know Jermaine Facey, that's the tall black kid, you know him. He goes, oh, man, did I look like a cunt? It was so funny. And I laughed so hard, man. Oh,
you
man.
know what? Ross, again, he's a real funny guy. And that's what I love about the fighters. They've got something. I always said that in my gym. To train that hard, beaten up day in, day out, you've got to be a little bit different. And that's what I love about MMA. They're really ballsy guys. They have a good time. They get drunk. But when they go in that cage, they put it all on the line. So respect to all the fighters that do it, and make us good promoters.
Yeah, you got to have a screw loose, I think, to be a fighter.
Definitely.
Hey,
definitely.
Dave, what?
I'll tell you what, a little plug tonight as well. If the USA fans haven't seen my show and the British guys go to war, I don't know if we're allowed to say it on this show, but Fight Now, the last event is on there tonight. I think it's 7 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern and Western. I get confused, but I know it's on tonight.
That's right. If you have Cablevision here in the U.S., you get Fight Now TV. Fight Now TV is where I report on the UFC, Scrape. So
Yep.
So they're part of the Mike Straka family as well. But I'm telling you right now, I just want to know, Dave, what you think of Michael Bisping, because I think for a long time he didn't get the credit he deserves, and I think in his last fight with Chael Sonnen, which could have gone either way, I think he's proved that he is an elite fighter. A lot of people always say, oh, they keep Michael on because they got to have a headliner when they go to Britain. But no, he's an elite fighter, isn't he?
Listen, Michael, again, look back onto where Michael first fought. He fought on my show, fought Epstein twice. He was my champion, a cage rage champion at a very young age. And Michael has always been... Hang on, I've got to get rid of this guy. Typical, ignore, go away. It's just typical. But there's always haters. Anything you do good in the world, people will hate if you become famous. But Michael, again, is one of them guys. You've got to love him for what he's put his family through, himself through. They're persistent, these guys, aren't they? They're really persistent. Go away again.
They looking for money? What are they looking for?
They must be looking for money, Dave.
They're looking for love, baby. And Michael, I've known Michael comes down to our show sometimes. He has a drink and he parties hard, but he fights hard. He trains like a dog, and top respect to Michael. And I'm glad that did show. It was a split decision. I personally think he didn't win it. I was sitting with my son and he was judging. He said, "Dad, I don't think." I said, "Personally, I don't think he did, but it was so close that it could have went either way." And it's always with the judges, it's people's perspective of a fight. I think it's one of them. But Michael, he will be one day. He is going to fight right up there, and within a couple of years, I think he will be wearing a belt. It's one of them things. He will be wearing a belt.
Well,
yeah, he's a tough top. I mean, I think he's a top 10 fighter in the UFC.
Well, Dave O'Donnell, thank you so much for doing a show tonight on Fight Now TV. Catch a Cage Rage. If you don't get Fight Now TV, just Google it. Google Dave O'Donnell, and you'll see who we're talking about. And Dave, you were great today. We want to have you on the show many, many more times.
Thank you very much, guys. Listen, long live Tapout Radio.